Hello, so we'll be going over D major 1 octave in thumb position. So the first things we need to know about thumb position is setting it up. So what I like to think is put your hand in a fist like this and just kind of knock around a little bit. Maybe knock here, maybe knock as far as you can go over here, maybe knock over here, maybe knock down back here. Knock on your fingerboard. One thing this teaches us is that we have to move our arm to get to position, to position, to position, to position. Our arm is constantly rotating from here, all the way to here, all the way to here. So when we set up our thumb position, make sure this fist is here, and then we kind of go around, hug your cello, or imagine you have a shield in your hand, pull around, pull back, and then your thumb this thumb is kind of straight like this. I usually line it up and then open up my finger like this. Set it. Use the harmonics, the D and the A, as a reference. Now, some teachers will say this forearm needs to be straight when you press down on the string. I tend to not agree so much with it because this can almost lock your wrist in a way and create tension. I like to find just a little bit of give helps kind of relieve some of that tension when thumb position is already a tense position, but also allows us to imagine this feeling of pulling, almost like we're rowing a boat. You have to feel this pull inwards. The other misconception and idea that you should think about is that the pulling actually comes from the forearm or even this upper arm, but the main feeling of it is coming down from this forearm. Push. So one thing you can practice is you can turn on your metronome, maybe click it to 60. Find your harmonics, push, pull, or push, release, pull, release, pull, release, forearm up, forearm, release. With the metronome, do a few sets of that. You can think of it as a workout. You can do 20 sets of 20 pulls and releases, or you can do 20 reps, 10 sets, or whatever. You can tell I don't go to the gym that much anymore. The other thing is, when you're doing this, it's important to not get lazy and just go on top of this. If you ever played that game when you were younger, was it the lava? The floor is lava. The cello bout here is lava. Your hand and your arm will burn off completely if you touch it. So save your arm from the treachery of lava and don't touch it. So down, release, down, release. And as you're doing this, make sure that your thumb is both on the D and the A string. A good rule of thumb in thumb position, if we're playing a passage, like let's say on the G string, and if the main passage is on the G string, our thumb should align to G and D only. So we can, in case we need to get to the D string, we're already prepared for it. Vice versa, if we're on the D and we have a passage getting to the A, we should align ourselves from the D to A. Now, there's other ways, this is more advanced, and we'll talk about it later, is we have to kind of sometimes shimmy over to the next string if we have to get all the way from the A to the G or any other string. It's kind of just the movement of this and this, kind of like that original shield concept we talked about earlier. And a lot of runs, recently I played the high-end cello concerto, and I had some runs where I started on the C string, and then I had to shimmy over slowly. When I had a moment of crossing, I just shimmied over whenever it was convenient for me. But anyways, back to the main idea of when we do some of these pulls, release, pulls, release. After that gets comfortable, continue in the pull motion. Set the metronome back on. Tap, 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 tap. I'm not too worried about pitch right now with this tap motion. I'm just worried about you getting comfortable keeping your thumb down and tapping with the first finger. Do a few sets of that. And now keep the first down and then tap, tap. And if you notice, I'm kind of going pivot, tap, pivot, tap. My forearm actually pivots up, down, hammer, down, hammer, down, 3, hammer, down, hammer, down, hammer, and all the way up to your 3 on the A. And when I transfer to the A, I'm not lifting my thumb at all. I'm just going up, down, down, up, hammer, up, hammer, up, all the way. Good. Now let's try that D major scale. One thing I love to use is drones. On my little handy dandy metronome and tuner app, I set it to a drone. It's set on a D major arpeggio, D, F sharp, and A. Those are going to be our pillar points in the whole D major scale. So it's good to tune around them. So it's good to use the thumb as a reference, the harmonics. Once we find our reference, pull down and keep them set. So thumb, first finger on E, second finger on F sharp, third finger on 3, which is G, that was weird. Thumb on A, don't play harmonic, 1 on B natural, 2 on C sharp, 3 on D, and all the way back down. Now when we come back down from scales, remember that we always have this pull, 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 1. If you want to think of it as plucks, you can. But don't intentionally do the plucks, because then it will become an issue later on. Just imagine you're plucking the strings and what. Really comfortable, you can start doing maybe some simple double stops. Maybe we do open, or we do the if we're traveling up the D string, we also play the thumb on the A. And we go to the A string, do that same thing, but now on the A string, playing the thumb on the D. Is easier to do than keeping the double stops. So if you find that the double stops hard, break them. Doing D, A, E, A, F sharp, A, G, A, D, sorry, restart. So yeah, those are some ways to organize your hand there. And kind of the last thing to remember is when we're in thumb position, especially here, you have to think about our string length is cut in half pretty much. We only have this much compared to when we're doing D major here. We have this much string. So we have to sustained, a little closer to the bridge, meaning it's a little bit more weight and a little bit more closer to the bridge. Slower bow. Hopefully this helps, and let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to text me, email me, or even leave a comment on the video. Thank you.